Hi guys, welcome to Learn Electronics Repair and a video sponsored by Fnirsi. So here I have a soldering iron. This is the new HS-02A model. This was sent to me free of charge from Fnirsi. I was asked to review this, but I have full editorial control. So this video is my honest opinion on this soldering iron, okay? We can see new upgrade, so IPS HD screen, 100 watt power. Let's open this up and have a look what's inside it. Let's get a first look at this. We have an accessory box. It's quite heavy, that. And we have the soldering iron in this nice handy little carry case. So this is obviously intended, I think, to be a portable soldering iron, although I don't see any particular reason why you couldn't use it on the bench either. Okay. Here it is. This is metal, so it's all metal. It's not a plastic soldering iron. Let's see, we have the little screen protector, so we can take this off. Yeah. We have a soldering iron tip. So this looks like a C245 tip, but apparently it isn't. That's an actual C245, so physically it is very similar, but there is apparently some difference, so you can't use these tips in this soldering iron. We have these dedicated tips for it, okay? There's a little lead, so this is a USB-C to effectively a jack socket. This is basically an adapter by the looks of it, so you can use, I believe it's 20 volts this soldering iron, okay? Or we can use like a PD type charger. And I think that's what's inside this accessory box. Let's see. We have a cable. A little, oh, this is like an EU adapter. We have a nice set of tips here. And we have the power supply. So this is 100 watt. Okay. Yeah. Obviously this must come with different types of plugs for different types of sockets, different places in the world, okay. USB and type C, and the cable. This is quite flexible. It feels like a silicone type cable, okay. I'm just figuring out how long this is. Well, I guess I need to measure it. I have this folded double, so it will double the reading. How long is this thing? Let's have a look. About 60 centimeters, so this is about 1.2 meters cable. That's probably quite similar to my other bench soldering iron. Okay, so let's see. Power soldering iron. And we have an instruction manual, very small one. Well, this is in Chinese and this is in English, okay, so we have, yeah, English. 100 watt max. Is that the power of the soldering iron or the power of the power supply? 9 to 20 volts, PD or QC. I would assume that we need the 20 volts to get the full power, okay. We can go to the QR code and have a look. And we have a quick start here. So again, this is all in Chinese. I can see there are 2 buttons. Yeah, this is a sleep thing. Okay. No, there are 3 buttons. There's an OK button as well. We could go to the QR code, but I think we can have a quick look and just see if we can figure this one out. This has a cover. Yeah, it kind of like, yeah, screw and twist, so it won't just fall off. Okay. Okay. It does look rather like a C245. As I say, it isn't. What tips do we have? Well, this is a conical. Looks to be exactly the same as the one that came with it. Maybe slightly finer actually. Here we have one of the knife type tips, okay. This is like a BC2 on the T12. A smaller version of the type of tip I normally use, which you guys will have seen. Okay. In fact, yeah, C2. KU, this is a smaller knife type tip. A smaller version of that one. And JS, so this is a bent conical tip. Sometimes I will use this type of tip for like drag soldering. We can maybe have a play with that one. The power supply, yeah, 100 watt it says. Let's have a quick look. So 100 volt to 240 volts, so USA or UK or EU. 20 volts at 5 amps, so this is in actual fact 100 watt. Yeah, 100 watt maximum, okay. Looking at all the included tips, I see they are in fact all different. So the two conical ones, we can see this one is sharper, more pointed if you like than this one. So we have this one is HS-02A, that's the type of soldering iron if you like. This is a B tip and this is an I tip. If I put them under a microscope you can see even clearer that these are actually different. There, so this tip is obviously a finer one than the other one. Initially I'm going to try the C2 tip because this is most similar to the type I use on my T12 soldering iron. I'm more familiar with this type of tip basically. Inserting the tip is very easy. This is very similar to a C245 type handle. Okay, it inserts the same way, it goes in quite firmly. That is, I'm putting some pressure on there, it basically locks into place. It will pull out but it won't just fall out. You can rotate the tip in here, so that means with something like this where you have a flat edge you can rotate it to the angle you wish depending on how you want to hold this. This is quite comfortable, so we have a curved edge and then like a flatter edge. You can see the shape of it, so that sits quite nicely into the hand. And then we have this rubbery silicone, I guess, type holding point here, so that means, yeah, you're not going to easily slip off there. That's quite a nice grip, and I would guess this also stops this getting too hot. We'll find out when we try it. With the tip on, you'll see we can put the cover that way, twist. So that's now on there. That means you can carry this around in your tool bag or wherever you want, and it's not going to burn anything, so you haven't got to wait while this cools down to transport it. That's quite nice. So once you finish the job, you put the cover on, you can just take the soldering iron. The carry case will easily take 2 more tips in there, so you can carry them like so. You wouldn't get another tip under there. I'm thinking maybe we can carry 2 more like so as well. Yes, that closes nicely, so we can easily carry 4 spare tips plus 1 in the iron. Obviously we have these as well. We can put some more of these in the tool bag, but that is probably as much as you want. In fact, I would imagine probably that you have 3 tips in here is enough for just about any scenario. The rest can go in your tool bag. This, you can put the little stand as well in there, and then you can see it just closes up nicely. Yeah, easily transportable. Little strap to hold it. Okay, clip onto your belt, whatever you want to do with it, on a tool belt or something. So that is nicely designed. Let's have a look at this soldering iron now. So I'll plug the power supply in, the 100 watt power supply that came with it. We'll just attach the power lead, switch on. We get the little loading screen and saying press OK. Yeah, and there we go. So that's heating up quite quickly. I can feel some warmth coming from that. So it's fairly quick to warm up. We can just go up and down in steps now. So that went up 5 degrees. Oh, I see. 5 at a time. Yeah. Okay. And the little meter here is obviously showing the power that's being drawn at a time. I'm going to set this to 380, which is the same temperature I use on my T12 and on the Sugon T26D. Okay, let's try to solder some things with this. Even without the stand, because of the shape of the handle, it actually sits quite nicely there. It won't burn the bench. I would imagine you could probably put this into a desk type stand as well if you so wish. This is the one from my T12. It's actually not made for it, but yeah, it would fit nicely enough in there. This is an old Antec stand. Okay, you can of course use the provided stand as well with this. I have some scrap T-con boards here. These are my go-to boards for testing soldering irons with. You can see quite a bit has been done on these, just playing around. Let's try and just unsolder some surface mount components. We'll try to resolder them. It's very difficult to give a really subjective comparison on soldering irons because every PCB is basically different. Okay, I could get some comparative boards made, I guess, with different layers, but let's try this. Let's try some real life usage, okay? So we'll go with these large surface mount capacitors. Now, if I can unsolder these just using the iron from one end, that means it's fairly powerful. So we'll get some heat in there, okay? We'll go to the other end, just turn it. That's heating very quickly and flowing very nicely. Let's see if we can actually unsolder this from one end. To be honest, this sort of depends to a fair extent on the tip you're using and on the board as well as the soldering iron. So if the board soaks up a lot of heat, you can't do it anyway regardless. Okay. That is doing. I can do it the other way, so we'll go both ends at once. Okay, so just get ready to heat up both ends of the component. 1, 2. Yeah, I have it. Okay, so that unsoldered quite nicely. This board looks like it does actually have quite heavy power or ground planes. T-con boards are generally like that anyway. Let's go for another one. So we'll do one end. The other end, so I'm adding a bit of fresh leaded solder basically. Let's see if this one will unsolder from one end. So once again, we'll heat up one end of this component. Put a little bit of pressure off it. I'm going to see if I can slide it towards the tweezers. And the answer is no, not really. Let's just compare that with a T12 just to see out of interest if that will do it. Just typical, I hadn't hit record on that one. We'll do this again, so we'll try these capacitors and we'll compare the two soldering irons. So I want to see if I can find one that I can't unsolder from one end using the HS-02. Okay, try this one. So we have solder. Other end. Yeah, we have plenty of solder on there. Now let's try to desolder this from one end again. Okay, so heat up the component. Can we get enough heat through there to do this? And the answer is no. Or it takes a very long time. No, I still haven't got it. Okay. I'll just wait while that cools down and then we'll try that with the T12 to see if it's any better. Now the T12 is a bench soldering station, that one, okay? So you would expect that probably to have the edge over a portable soldering iron. Let's find out if it does. This is now cool, okay? So we'll try the same technique. Coming from one end and see if we can unsolder it. And the answer is no. Okay, this has a much larger tip, so you'd expect that would probably give it a little bit of an advantage. But no, I can't unsolder that from one end. Let's try it from both ends, and then we'll do the same once more with the HS-02. Okay, yeah, and it's unsoldered. Now once again with the HS-02, another capacitor, same size, big chunky one. Okay, soldering both ends. Let's see again, can we do it from one side? Nope. Both sides. So just heat up one end and the other, backwards and forwards. Yeah. There. So there's very little difference in performance between the two, and bear in mind having the larger tip actually allows me to get the heat more evenly spread. So I would say that that HS-02 works just as well as my T12, and that's a bench soldering iron. This is a portable one, yeah. And you wouldn't really expect this portable to have the same sort of power, but this seems to. Let's try something else. Here we have a little QFP. We would usually solder a new one of these using drag soldering, so we'd use hot air if we want to unsolder it, and drag soldering to solder a new one. So I can pretty much test that without changing it. We'll do a couple different sides with different soldering irons again, and we'll try a couple of tips as well. So to do the drag soldering, you need to add quite a lot of flux. Okay, generally speaking, I would then warm this up with hot air. I would do this anytime I was doing this, so we'll do it. This is how I would work. Not to unsolder it, just to get the area warm. Okay. And then we come in with a soldering iron. So, a bit more flux. Okay. You get some solder, and then we're going to drag this down the side of the chip. So a bit of solder on there, heat it up, and then we're going to drag. And this should melt the solder cleanly from pin to pin. Okay, as I got towards the bottom end, I got a solder bridge. That will be because I was picking up more solder on the way down. And we should be able to clean that. Let's just have a go. So wipe the tip. Yeah, there we go. So that is certainly capable of drag soldering. Let's try that with another tip. So I'm going to do this with the bent conical. That's the other sort of tip I would use for this, and maybe with the knife. Now I'm not that familiar at working with the knife tip, so let's see what results I get. I'll just switch the soldering iron off. Okay, you see it's cooling down, it's going off. While it's still hot or cooling down, I'll put this cover on. Let's see how warm it actually gets. So that's actually, oh, in fact it hasn't turned off, it's just changed temperature. Is it one long touch? Yeah, that switches it off, right. So I've got the cover on. And that's fine. A little bit of warmth in it, but it's not hot. And by the way, this isn't hot either. Okay. Yeah, so that worked well. This is very good actually, I like this a lot. We'll try this bent conical. I do have this switched off, by the way. I'd imagine this gets very hot very quickly. Okay. Once again, I've angled that so that it's facing downwards. We're going to try drag soldering with this. So, power on. Hit OK. Gone to 330. Yeah, quick touch and it goes up actually. We can see it has some preset temperatures. 360. 340. No, back to 330. Back to 300 in fact. Again, quick touch. 330. 360. Okay. I prefer to work a bit higher than that, but let's try it at the preset temperature. It's easy enough to change anyway, as we've seen. So, once again, a large capacitor. This is not the sort of tip I would use for this sort of work, but let's have it to see how well it actually does. You can see I'm getting like a blob on the back of it there. Can you see? Okay. Let's try it. Having the longer tip, this could actually work better. Let's see. Yeah, so that actually works better. If you prefer that type of tip, I've just realised it's very good for this sort of thing actually. Okay. We'll try this again. Drag soldering. So just gently warm the area up. Get a little bit of heat into it. Okay. Add some flux. And plenty of it. Okay. Just a little bit of solder. We don't need much because there's solder on here already anyway. And let's try the same again. So onto the pins, get it flat against them. And that worked really nice. Yeah, that worked really nice. I have tried these bent conical before and I rather like them. I'm hoping that you're seeing yourself. It's actually quite a good choice for surface mounts. I know my friend Carlos at Retro Upgrades swears by these tips. Okay. And lastly, I'm going to try a knife tip. Now I have two different sizes of these, but I'm actually going to try the largest one out of interest. This is not the sort of tip I would normally work with. I did a review on a portable soldering iron a while ago, and it only came with a tip similar to this, a smaller one. So I have done this before. Let's have a quick look. So this is practically as wide as that chip is. Okay. In fact, it is basically, so I've never tried this. But we'll see what happens. And while we're at it, first of all, let's unsolder another one of these large capacitors. Again, this will easily span across that. Let's see how well it works. We can actually set these temperatures. You can see we have presets 1, 2, and 3. So there's 3 set temperatures. So for example, I could program this to 380 if I want. We can get into the menu and do that. But once again, I'm going to just leave this on its standard high setting at 360. Let's see what happens. Capacitor. I can certainly get a lot of heat into that. Okay. Will this actually do it from one side? Let's have a go. Okay. No, once again, I can't unsolder it from one side. Let's go across the components. Sorry guys, the board's sticky. Okay, let's have a go. So both sides at once, and off it comes. Even easier, okay? Drag soldering with a bit as large as the size of the chip, basically. Yeah, so again, a little bit of warmth in there, it just helps. This is standard practice. I'm not doing this just for the soldering iron. This is how I work. Regular viewers, you will know that. We'll come to this side. Again, plenty of flux. I've wiped the tip clean. I'm going to put a bit of leaded solder on this, not much, because there's plenty of solder on here already. And again, let's try this. So we'll come onto it, hold it flat, and down the chip. We got quite a solder bridge using this one. This could be my bad technique because I'm not familiar with using it. Let's see if we can clean that up using the tip itself. And no, I can't, but this could be technique. This is just familiarity with certain tools, I would say. Let's have a go down another side, but we won't add solder this time. Let's just try it. Yeah, that flowed nicely. The unwanted solder bridge, well, I'll probably just deal with that with a bit of braid actually. So a bit of flux on the braid. Again, just come at an angle I can easily work, like so. And that's clean. Just having a quick play with this. I haven't looked for a manual, but I've noticed if we hold this button in, it goes into boost mode. You see, 450. So it just goes up to maximum. That's great if you're doing some heavy soldering work. You want to boost, just hold that in for a couple of seconds. It goes into boost. Hold this one in, and it'll just drop back down. It's going down to 375, it says. I actually came from 360. Okay, quick touch, 370, 365. Okay, yeah, so that boost is quite nice. Let's just go once again and see if it actually will come back. 450. Pull this one in. Yeah, it's going back to 360. Maybe it's just the length of time I held it for. So I like that boost facility. That is nice. It's actually really quite easy to use this. Yeah, touch on the OK. It's gone back to setting 1, which is 300. So one quick touch on this goes to whichever preset. Yeah. And then holding this one in, yeah, shuts it off now. So you press OK to start it back up. So that's how you switch off. I know this has a standby as well, where you can adjust the time, you can adjust the standby temperature, you can adjust the preset temperatures. I won't really go into that. I'm telling you that it will do it, but to be quite honest, guys, just using the built-in settings, I think that is absolutely fine. Okay, this is just a little bit warm, not uncomfortably warm. That's fine. And of course we have the cover. So we need to sum up. I like this. Actually, this works really well. I've used a few different portable type soldering irons now. I've used the TS100, TS101, TS85, a few lesser known ones. I've used the Pine Cell, so I've used pretty much all of them. This is a little bit chunkier than most, but I actually find it's very comfortable in my hand. I do like the range of tips this came with. Let's have a look at the price of this so we can see how much this would cost. So I have various options. Let's have a look. This option, so it's $58 with the 100-watt power supply and one tip, the little stand. Just $31 for the soldering iron if you have your own PD power supply, 100 watts. That is pretty cheap. That comes with one tip. Okay, again with the power supply, this is the knife tip, 58. So there's quite a few options we have. That's another one with a knife tip, with one tip and without the power supply. Okay, that's 3 tips and no power supply. Okay, I do like that bent conical, I will say. That is the full setup. So that is the full package one I have, with the power supply, the carry case, the stand, all 6 tips, everything. Okay, the little adapter so we can use a laptop power supply as well. That's the little that one. Yeah, another option with 3 tips, and another option with the 6 tips without the power supply. So we have options here ranging from $31 to $65. I think for a good 100-watt power supply, that's actually quite a good deal, because you can use this power supply for other things as well when you're not using soldering iron. I think this is good value for money. If there are any discount codes, I will put them in the video description, so just check in there if we have any special offers on this. Guys, I have to say I can recommend this. It's nice, yeah. There's nothing like what's not to like about it, yeah. Everything from the silicone cable, the way it feels nice in the hand, the price is nice. I think I will probably get a bench soldering iron stand rather than the little portable one, because I work on the bench. Stick the bent conical tip in this and have it sitting next to my T12 and the Sugon C210, and this basically gives me a C245 soldering iron, and of course it's portable, yeah, so we can use this on the electronics channel on the live streams as well. No matter where we are, we can use this. So if you're looking for this sort of soldering iron, I've got to say I can recommend that one. No doubt some of you guys will have something else and you'll want to say it's better, or maybe you'll say, actually, Rich, that's better than what I've got. We'll see. So get into the comments below, let us all know, and I look forward to seeing you all soon on another Weird Electronics Repair video. Ciao for now, guys.